All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. I'm Mike Ham. We are here at Angry Papa Entertainment. I got that right? Yep. This is Wallington, New Jersey. I didn't realize how close this was to me. And honestly, if I came here like once a week, do you guys come here once a week?
We do, yes.
I'd go to Rutt's Hut literally every single week. Like, I already go too much. So shout out to Rutt's Hut, of course.
Rutt's Hut and then come here.
Yeah, and then go back to Rutt's Hut because now they're open to 11 again. You know?
Sweet.
So we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you like right after this. You know?
Sure.
Yeah. So we're here with Reality Suite, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. So very excited to have you on, and we'll just go right out of the gate because you guys are playing Jersey Fest on May 17th, which we're very excited to have you. Closing out the show, we're just going to get like progressively louder and louder as the night goes on, which is phenomenal. So we're excited to have you as part of the show.
Yeah, we're super
Thanks for having
excited.
us.
Yeah, we are
Thank
stoked.
you, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's maybe if we can do like go around the horn, say what everybody does in the band, and then we'll just keep it quick, short, and then we'll kind of get into like the origins of Reality Suite, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So Kimmii, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Kimmii Heart. I'm the singer of Reality Suite.
Further around the horn, I play the French horn with my toes.
Really round out that sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Brian King, and I play the drums.
Joe Padula, I play guitar, and we all sort of toss a salad.
Already starting.
Yeah.
Jeff Luke, bass guitar and background vocals.
Sure. So how long has Reality Suite I know it's been a couple different iterations, but how long has Reality Suite been a band?
In total?
Yeah, like when
Probably
the
a little
first time
over-
Reality
You're
Suite
asking
was
us
a
to do
band.
math.
Huh?
Yeah,
You're asking us
we're
to
bad
do
at
math.
math.
Yeah.
A little
Maybe
over a
not
decade.
the years, but
Yeah.
like what year did you start?
Well, we started...
Use that mic though.
That's the mic. I thought it was...
He's a
breaking.
drummer.
Sorry. I am a drummer. Lefty, mind you. We started kind of playing... Joey and I started playing together with our original bass player, Antonio. Probably was 08?
08, yeah.
Okay.
08, end of 08. And then 09, and we had a few other friends that were singing with us. And then Kimmii joined in 2010. No, 2014. 2014.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that sounds right.
And
We're bad at math.
We are bad at math.
It's fine.
I did that
Bad
without
at
a
dates.
calculator, kids.
Yeah.
So we kind of consider 2014 the official launch,
Sure.
so to speak.
Yeah. And like, how's it been? Has it been fun? You guys enjoyed doing it clearly because it's been a decade, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeff, have you been
absolutely,
having
yeah.
fun?
Yeah.
For the last decade, yes, I have. A lot.
I've been going to Rutt's Hut,
Yeah, going to Rutt's Hut.
traveling up the Parkway
been awesome.
from Colts Neck to see Rutt's Hut.
Yeah. Cool. So we did say like out of the gate that for Jersey Fest, like we're gonna get louder basically as the night goes on. So we have Emerson, Wolf, and the Wishbones starting us off, and they're kind of like folk Americana sort of, and then Connor Bracken and the Mother Leeds band, they're kind of like bluesy rock, and then you guys, if you could describe your sound, how would you describe it?
So we're the loudest.
You are the loudest for sure.
That's how she
Yeah.
describes it. The loudest.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Just loud.
We're loud.
Yeah. When you guys were when the band started a decade ago, like some of the first songs, are they still kind of like in rotation? Like the songs you guys play when you're on stage, are they still like main parts of the catalog? Obviously a little bit different with Kimmii joining later on, but still playing those ones?
Not currently, but up until maybe like last year, there were songs that have had iterations of probably 2 or 3 other singers before Kimmii.
Mm-hmm.
Like say there was a song called Wingman, which was the first song I think we wrote technically.
Right. And another one called Die Dreaming that we've been
We
playing.
still play that
We
one,
still play
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
We do still play. It's not in the set. We're a little tired
moment.
at the moment, but
Sure. Yeah.
but we have a lot of new
It's a fan
songs, so
favorite.
it's
Yeah.
you know it's one of those things where it's like choosing the new
Gotta
songs.
Cater to the
and-
fans, man. It's
Cater
not
to the
about us.
Yeah,
fans,
give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you've added, obviously like adding Kimmii and adding new members over the course of this decade, like how has that kind of like influenced what you guys play, how you guys play? And then I guess after we do that, then maybe like how's it been joining a band that had been a band for a while and then kind of being able to put your own stamp on that?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff can also answer that
Yeah.
question too, since he's our newest member.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's been super good with taking new ideas and everything. Like I obviously come from a very similar background, but a lot of different, everybody listens to different bands, and there's maybe something that I've heard that they haven't, and I'll be like, oh, we could do something that, like, this is what I like, and this is how I wrote it and how I came to be. And we've already worked a lot of that stuff into new material, and it's just been a really cool process, like integrating into all that new sound.
That's the whole tossing of the salad.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, of course. Continuously
There's
tossing
extra
the
lettuce
salad.
now.
Yeah, extra lettuce. Yeah,
There's romaine now in the salad.
sure.
Some arugula.
Yeah. And what about you? Obviously, like having a Stamp being the lead singer of the band.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
I mean, when I first joined the band, of course, it's a little intimidating at first because everything's new. But yeah, I brought my ideas, I brought my influences, and we just kind of, we started writing new material, and I call our writing a metamorphosis.
Sure.
Because everyone puts their touch to it, and it starts at one way, and at the end it's something totally reality sweetified.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool seeing the process.
Totally. Like going back to what you asked before, Mike, regardless of our goofy answers, to describe our sound, I think, based on what Kimmii is saying, I don't know if modern vintage is kind of like a cliche, but it's like we have roots in classic rock, I think, but we also love modern rock, pop music, all different styles of music.
Yeah.
So like, when...
No, go ahead.
So like when, like, say Joe comes up with a song and it's, maybe it's going in that little, maybe it's like a song kind of like Van Halen or something. I'm sorry. It's just the first thing that comes to my head. But Van Halen. And then, Jeff and I get behind the rhythm section, and then it kind of veers off into a different direction, like more, I don't know, what would you say?
I don't know. I think everything is like we all try to serve the song pretty much as best as we can.
Sure.
So if Brian's thinking like, oh, this sounds like this kind of band, you know what I mean? Like this is what influence I'm bringing to it, and it sounds the best. That's what we go with. And, and as a bass player, like I could do funk stuff, I could do thrash stuff. You know what I mean? Like I could really mix in whatever I feel like is best for the song. So it starts from like that kind of idea, and then it just evolves into what it is, which is some badass like rock music that we're gonna bring to the stage.
Sure.
Mostly badass. Some of it's not badass.
Yeah. Mostly badass. Yeah. Joey, were you gonna say something before?
Yeah, no, to Brian's point, and Jeff's, it's like the just the meshing of everything together, and just the cool part about what we do is we, at the end of the day, it's like Jeff said, it's for this. We write it for the song, but we all have to love our parts that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's it just works out. That's the best.
So it seems
part
to be like a
about
pretty collaborative effort putting the songs together,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, which is cool. So then you have like different influences. So I'm also curious. So like before Reality Suite, and we could also maybe we'll go backwards this time around the horn. Like what were you doing before, and then maybe like how that has influenced like how maybe the Reality Suite sound has been impacted because of different bands that you guys have played in before, and then like how you made your way to the band, basically, right?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
May I?
Yeah, go for it, Brian.
Okay. Well, I can't help answer that question without going back to the roots.
Sure.
What did you grow up listening to? And when I was a kid, I was listening to a lot of Rush, and Metallica was a big influence. But I still liked some of the stuff that was going on at the time, like like what we refer to as like hair metal, or like Rat or Motley Crue, Extreme, that type of stuff. Kiss. But as I grew older, I started listening to more, not even like heavy music, but
Mariah
like
Carey.
Mariah Carey all the
Yeah,
way.
I do get that
Dua
when I
Lipa.
listen to you guys play a little Mariah
Dua
Carey.
Lipa?
A
Well,
little
it's the
bit.
notes
There is
that
a
Kimmie's
full
hitting.
Mariah Carey
Yeah.
flavor for
Yeah.
sure.
Personally, I went through like a dance rock phase, like the Sounds, which I was listening to today, ironically.
Yeah,
The Sounds, Shiny Toy Guns, The Bravery, The Killers, all of the bands.
sure.
Franz Ferdinand, still love all those guys. And me personally, the bands I was in at that time, there was a band called Tenets High. We're from Long Island City. But anything after that kind of everything, even like what I play now, has like a stint of like a little bit of that disco beat creeps in every once in a while. I'm sorry, but like just that little period of influence. I still love that music.
Yeah.
But I still love like Nickelback and metal. But I still have that little that love for something with a beat and a melody.
Yeah.
And then
that's the whole Dynasty album, right?
That's Dynasty, Kiss Dynasty.
Check
it out.
It has that dance beat to it. That's where that we come from. But yeah, same with me. I mean, Van Halen, White Lion, the hair metal bands back in the 80s. That's where I was kind of rooted. And when I started learning how to play guitar, Richie Kotzen, guitar greats, Steve Vai. And, so that's what I bring into it. You know what I mean? That's my influence. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is, like I was saying before, these guys sort of like might bring me out of that a little bit, which is great. Because I don't want to stay in that realm.
Yeah,
it's in me to come. When I play, but to kind of tame it a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's not. I don't want to sound like Eddie Van Halen. Not that I ever would, but you know what I mean. Have that.
Sure.
That
Eddie
those,
Van
the tapping.
Halen.
Yeah. Who's Eddie?
It's reality.
Joey Van Halen.
Yeah.
Joey Van Halen. Yeah. I mean, if we're going back, like Brian was, I was pretty much raised on like the big four of thrash, like Bay Area thrash metal, and that went into like grunge, and it just kind of evolved with that, just within life. And in my 20s it was all about like revival punk, like folk, and into what I listen to today, but sprinkled in between that. And I think it's funny, like a lot of metal kids, or at least everyone I know, like secretly like something that isn't super metal. And
yeah, sure.
At some point you find out what that other person's band is, and they're like embarrassed. So luckily I got to that point early in my life where
Prince. It was Prince, right?
I like Prince, yeah.
When Doves Cry.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
song
why
makes
not?
me
Yeah.
cry.
You're like, of course I like Mariah Carey, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you eventually just find those people, and luckily, if you're like me, you kind of find it early, so you don't stay that close-minded into your 20, later in life. And then most people who don't even play music kind of stop listening to new music. So it's cool to still be inspired by new things coming in, and to not be embarrassed by what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
So that's it gives me a lot of opportunities to bring stuff to the band that maybe somebody hasn't heard of, or like kind of one of those hear me out on this type of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
make fun of me.
Sure. Yeah.
We just instruct Jeff to like send us an email. We'll get back to him.
Yeah.
Put your ID in an email. We'll
I left it on
get back
red.
to you.
I left it on red. We're just gonna get back
So,
to
I
it
mean,
as soon as we can, and I leave them for weeks and months at a time.
So I mean, to that point, I was able to play, in all kinds of different bands. Like I even solo, doing me an acoustic guitar thing for a while. So it's just a lot of different experiences that I could bring into, what we play and what we think about.
Yeah. And then before we get to Kimmii, I am curious too,
Sure.
how you found the band, or the band found it. How did that?
So
work?
okay, so I used to be in a band called Night Fires, and from about 2018 to just before the pandemic, I think it was 2019. It kind of gets fuzzy.
Sure.
But so we had a singer, and she was very good, and we were like, let's look for other bands to kind of like befriend, learn a little bit of the ropes, like what to expect, what venues are cool, with that kind of thing, and whatnot, because it's hard. I'm sure Kimmii could talk about it too. But
Jeff reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, does your singer get dick pics?"
no, I did not.
Oh my God.
I did not.
He was like, he just wanted to know what to expect. I'm sorry,
Very
is this like a?
respectful. Oh
is
no!
this-
When you
that's a
guys
real
gave
story?
me the Instagram, when you guys gave me the Instagram, I'm like, I don't want to log into this. That's true. Okay, that's true. I'm like, I
Just
don't want
a
to look at
treasure
the
trove.
messages. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I found, how the algorithm works. They just
Yeah.
popped up. It was right around when they released Kiss the Ring. And so I watched the video, and I was like, man, this seems like a really cool band. If their bass player ever leaves, I'm going to hit them up. And then, as fate would have it, years later.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like a voodoo doll just sticking pins in them and shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Put it out in the universe.
Yeah, right. I'm a big believer in the universe, so I get that. Yeah.
So yeah, just fate, I guess. I don't know.
Broke Antonio's knee.
Oh.
Just
Terrible.
like me with a pipe, just
Yeah.
beating in the wings. No. Antonio, if you're listening, I swear to God, you had it coming.
That's what she
Target on
said.
his back
I'm
from
kidding.
day
I'm
one.
kidding.
Yeah.
No, But no, it was cool filling into Antonio's shoes because, I mean, he does write some pretty badass bass lines, and it's been a lot of fun learning them and kind of, you know, I feel like I know him just from learning his playing style, which is kind of silly, but, you know.
Yeah.
The Mayo Performing Arts Center is the heart of arts and entertainment in Morristown, New Jersey. MPAC presents over 200 events annually and is home to an innovative children's arts education program. To see MPAC's upcoming schedule of world-class concerts, stand-up comedy, family shows, and more, head to mayoarts.org or just click the link in our show notes.
Kimmii?
Awesome. I mean, I guess I was in like 2 other bands in high school before finding Reality Suite and joining them, and we played out a few shows. We didn't do too much. We had some photo shoots. We started writing, but it just wasn't fitting my style.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it was really hardcore. Like they brought in a screamer, and I was just like, I don't know if this is capturing exactly like what I want to be singing and doing. So kind of fell apart. Nobody got along in that band. And so tried forming another band, didn't really work out. And so then I was back to the drawing board, and then that's when I found Reality Suite. And
How did you find this?
well, back then I didn't know where to go. There was no like rock magazine or like I don't know. It was just like a weird time where it was hard to find musicians, and so I went to Craigslist.
As we all have done at certain points in time, missed encounters, all those.
That's how you know you're not in like the dark
That's where
timeline.
she found us.
Really?
Missed encounters, yes. Saw long-haired dude online at Starbucks. I know I caught
Figured
your
he
eye.
probably in a band.
This sounds so bad.
Figured a bit. Or a garage garbage collector.
Yeah.
But
Either way, yeah.
Mike, to your question earlier though, you asked something to the effect of, you know, when I think you said like to Kimmii and Jeff, when you joined the band or when somebody joined the band, did it impact the sound or whichever, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To, you know, honestly, when Kimmii joined the band, definitely she impacted the band because, you know, like I was saying, for the first like 3 years, maybe 4 years, we had released a few like EPs digitally, a CD, and we were really testing out the waters with everything. You know, we were, Antonio and I were very, I mean, I could speak for myself. I was bored with rock music at the time, and I was still in my, you know, The Killers and Franz Ferdinand and Muse, that's another one, phase. So like, you know, we were trying to do something different, and what we kept coming, David Guetta, yeah. We were all over the place, but it was good though, because the one thing that we could admit to ourselves was that when we did rock, it sounded authentic and it kicked ass.
Yeah.
So like songs like Wingman, which lasted, you know, 14 years, a couple other songs, like we knew they worked, but we're still trying to make the other things work.
To find our sound.
Right?
Yeah.
When Kimmii came into the picture and she was dressed like this, we said, you know what, we gotta just, no, I'm just kidding. But no, but seriously though, when she came in and her voice fit with the rock stuff,
Yeah.
we were like, well, why are we trying so hard? Let's just do what we do.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
Eliminated the rest.
Yeah. Just let it go. Yeah.
yeah.
I think I did bring some modern rock though in
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, some pretty
I can't
reckless
feel my face
Hailstorm.
when I'm with you. oh, right. No. When we were doing covers.
Yeah,
we did.
Playing with Fire was one of the first songs that we wrote together.
Yeah.
We had the music, she had the lyrics, and it fit like a glove. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I should have asked this at the very beginning. Where does the name Reality Suite come from? Like, how does one pick that name, and why Reality
A
Suite?
napkin.
Yeah.
It all started
A
with
dirty
a
napkin
napkin.
in my
Toilet-
car.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Well, there's smoke, there's
Tissues.
fire, Michael.
Sure. Yeah.
So, all right. So the story goes, I was driving to work this one day. I was in Eatontown. I was on Route 36. I remember specifically. I was at the light of 36 and 35. Do you guys know where I am? No?
Yeah.
You know where I am.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know where you are.
I was on my way to
No
work,
Yeah.
and I was listening
Never
to
been.
Howard Stern, big Howard Stern fan. And they were talking about reality shows. Whatever they were talking about, I don't remember, but were talking about reality shows. And the word reality just stuck in my head. I was like, reality. I wrote that down on a napkin.
What is reality?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm questioning. What
Right.
is reality?
You're a really deep guy. I can like
Yeah.
really, I really get that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mocking me.
No, of course
Is it
not.
gaslighting? Is this gaslighting?
It might be. I don't know. I don't
Welcome
really know
to
what
the
that means.
gaslighting podcast.
Is this real?
Are we here?
Are we really here? No. So, but reality, I felt like was something everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So, like reality, what? Something reality, blah blah blah. So that just kind of lingered in my car for a little bit. You know, we were called the industry standard
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Nothing
And-
standard
too
about
standard.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt like
We're misfits. If
from a
anything.
marketing perspective, I felt like that was selling ourselves short. Calling yourself standard is like
Substandard.
saying we're band boring.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, oh,
So-
cool. Industry standards.
Yeah,
playing.
they're pretty standard.
Yeah.
So one day Joe and I were on the phone, and gonna pass it over to Joe.
Yeah, we're on the phone. I was on River Drive. Not that that matters in Padula.
The corner of River Drive and
He mentioned the street he's on, so
Yeah.
I remember specifically.
I remember.
I was on River.
yeah, you just put that on a map on the website. Be like, this is where Reality Suite was. You know, the name was
Yeah, this is
formed.
where the- yeah,
you
name
know.
was formed.
So when you're doing the walking tours, all the fans are doing the walking tours.
Just walking through New Jersey.
Right.
I was at work, and Brian calls me. I walk out of the office. I'm in the hallway. The suite that I was in was 201, Suite 201, and I just mentioned that on the phone, and that's just pretty much how it came together.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's weird how stuff like that works
it's
out.
just weird.
Okay, I want to pick it up because I don't want to take too much more time because obviously I'm not gonna rehearse. You guys are gonna rehearse, but I want to take it from Kimmii joins the band and all the stuff that's kind of happened since then. I always like to ask artists, especially people where there's like the way that creatives, whether it's like someone doing a podcast or the stuff that we do, the stuff that you guys do, the stuff that people do when they like paint a picture, like it's really hard to define success. But I do like to kind of point out people's moments in time, like where they're like, wow, this is something that, because like I've noticed that a lot doing this stuff full time, where it's like you have these long, terrible valleys, but then you have these peaks, which just like fucking get you back to normal, and then they get you through the next couple valleys that you have to go through. So like as a band, have you had those I'm sure you've had them, but moments in time over the course of the lifespan of the band, particularly since Kimmii and Jeff have been a part of it, maybe less so Jeff but more so Kimmii, no offense, but it's just a shorter amount of time. But moments in time where you're
Jeff,
just like,
right?
wow, like this, we're doing something really cool here, and people are embracing what we're doing, which is cool.
For sure. I think, especially before COVID, I think we were just like balls to the wall. We were getting all these awesome theater shows and getting our foot in the door in like really cool venues and having very successful shows, and just growing our fan base. And just, it was like, when you see that light at the end of the tunnel, you're like, everything you're working for, and you're finally seeing some success from it. And then COVID happened, and that kind of just put a halt to things.
Sure.
But then after that, we got the Nickelback show. We got that call, and it was just like, oh my God, wait, this isn't over.
The
There's
rebirth.
still hope.
Yeah.
Not dead yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then again, then we went like another lull, and then now.
And then
we're
Antonio quit.
starting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And now I guess
The
we're
ups and
starting
downs, yeah.
again.
He doesn't like
and-
Nickelback.
But I mean, we love doing this. I mean, I have to do it. It's like you have to
Yeah,
do it,
scratch the
when
itch,
you're, it's just,
Yeah.
it's something that I would do regardless.
Yeah.
And whether we make it or not, I mean, it keeps me sane, and it's my therapy and my outlet, and I love it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for me, the one of my high points was the Awaken album in 2019. The release of that album was just, just amazing. We put so many years into it, and having Kimmii in the band and restructuring what we were doing, and just going in the studio for that 6 months, 8 months, and getting everything just mixed and mastered. That to me was one of my Nirvana moments. But as far as shows, like Kimmii was mentioning, just opening up for just hitting some really cool venues, and opening up for Vixen and Rat and Nickelback, good stuff.
Danger, dude.
Danger. Oh my God!
Oh,
how could I forget?
Trickster.
Steve.
How about, I'm sorry, like when you look out in the crowd and you see fans, like they know the lyrics to your
lyrics,
song.
Yeah.
And that
That's-
was a
yeah.
moment that I was just like, wow, that's cool.
Like-
yeah,
like-
absolutely.
It became hard to gauge. I don't want to say success because we're not. I don't know if we're successful, but like
Well, I think I wouldn't have booked you for Jersey Fest if I didn't think that you guys were successful. No, we're not taking any scrubs, you know? Like,
true.
yeah.
We're big in
but
Japan.
We are big in
forget.
Japan. Totally.
This show was huge in Slovenia for like a year. We were number one in places
Slovenia
and
is
travel in
beautiful.
Slovenia for a year.
Wait,
It was,
really?
I swear to God.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I've been there. It's awesome.
That's,
Oh my God.
Were you listening to the show while you were there? Because it's crazy.
That's great. Amazing. No, but like shows or like what's going on, I started to feel like for a while like what's happening in Jersey. I didn't feel like we were getting the love, and when I say that, I mean we were getting so much love from around the world.
Mhm.
That to me, like we were getting great shows. Yeah, totally. You know, opening up for touring legendary bands and stuff like that. Nickelback. But it was like the local fans, or not even the local fans, it's the fans around the world. Like when you get those messages on Instagram or Facebook or, whichever, that are like totally legit. Like, I love you guys. I love the song. What was that?
Here's a picture of my dick.
Yeah. And here's my dick. But yeah, stuff like that. Like I always screenshot that.
Brian's the
stuff. I would
first one to
share.
weed those out.
The filter.
yeah.
Yeah.
You screenshot those, really?
Of course, no, not the dicks.
Brian.
No. I forward those to Jeff. They're always like, "Can you send this to Kimmii?" I'm like, "No." All right. And I send Jeff's beard, a photo of Jeff's beard in return. No, but just the beard.
I get it,
Nothing
yeah.
else. But for a while, I mean, that's where I felt we were successful.
Yeah.
Like, when like fans started or supporters started posting photos of themselves holding our CD when Skin came out, our first CD back in 2015, 2016. When people were doing that, like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, people are acknowledging us. Like, I never thought to do that. And when people were doing it,
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. And then, just hearing from people around the world, literally, like Japan or Brazil,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
New Zealand. I know who you are.
The UK.
UK.
Yeah.
Yes. Who else should we shout out?
Colombia,
Colombia.
Mexico. You name it. Yeah, Japan. I mean,
Yeah. That's so cool.
yeah.
So I also know that within the last couple years, you guys have released some new music. But when this episode comes out, because we're recording this like a couple weeks out from when the episode's going to release, but when this episode comes out on the 29th, right? Is that what we said? There's another important thing happening for Reality Suite that day too. So it's not just this. This is secondary. But what is the thing that's happening that day also for you guys?
Jeff is shaving his beard on camera.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Keep it forever.
I'm growing a beard.
She's growing.
The bearded lady.
He's going to shave it. We're going to paste it on Kimmie's face.
Yes.
Sexy.
I gotta keep everyone on edge.
Yeah.
Non-binary.
He's innovating.
But yeah, we're super excited. We're releasing a new single, and the single's called These Fears, and super exciting because it's been, when's the last time 5 months since we released?
Yeah.
This will be the first song.
Yes.
What was the last one? Insane was the last one? Or Hollywood
yes.
was the last
Yeah.
one.
Not to be confused with Bollywood. We
Yeah.
we re-recorded it and re-released it in India as Bollywood.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. You should.
You should
we
see
should.
our Spotify numbers
Yeah.
over there.
That's not a bad idea.
Why not?
Marketing.
You know? Okay, before we get into like where people can go to find stuff, I also have one more question. I don't know why this just popped into my head too. Did you guys do a song for Liv Morgan, or was it something that she picked one of your songs to use? Because I see on Spotify it's like the song and then parentheses Liv Morgan. Like, what is that?
Oh, well, actually, we worked with Darren on that song.
Okay.
And
Explain who Darren is.
Darren, he was just
Former member.
a
Yeah.
former member that we've worked with before with a few songs, but he was like, hey, let's write a song to Liv Morgan's intro, like where she walks out,
Yeah.
her intro song, and he's like, do you want to work on this and you want to be on it? And so I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, crazy story is I used to work with her.
Because she's from Jersey, right?
Yeah, she's from like the town I actually grew up in.
Yeah.
She's a paisan, right?
We used
She's a
to
paisan.
work
She's a paisan?
together.
Yeah.
We served together at a restaurant, and I was like, definitely, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we did it.
Cool. Sweet. All right. You got something?
I was just saying, totally.
Totally. That's a good, like, just kind of, move on to the next thing word. All right. So if people want to learn more about Reality Suite, obviously they should get tickets for May 17th, Jersey Fest at White Eagle Hall. RadioGardenState.com/Jersey Fest is where you can get tickets. But if they want to learn more about the band, where would you send them to go learn more about the band?
RealitySuite.com.
To Jeff.
Everyone's next just snapped. Like the
Yeah,
newest
we're
guy.
on Instagram at Reality Suite, realitysuite.com. We're not super much on X or Facebook. Just search Reality Suite. Being that it's
YouTube?
unique, YouTube is big for us.
Yeah,
we
we
like
got
to
a
see
bunch
people
of
on
videos.
YouTube. We like to talk to folks on there. Reality Suite's such a unique name that if you type it into Google, like 10 times out of 10, you'll get us and not somebody else.
But it's sweet, like SUITE, not
Yeah.
SWEET.
Yeah, that's
That
a
usually gets confusing.
Crucial
Yeah.
piece of info.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put the links in the show notes. People just like go click them, but I do like to at least just like say them. And YouTube is important because you guys do like the video stuff that you guys do is always really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been great. I'm going to hang out and just record you guys while you rehearse. I think that'll be fun. And then we'll put that video up too. But thank you for inviting me in. Can't wait for you guys to play Jersey Fest. And everybody, thanks for listening. This has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. I'm Mike Ham. We were here with Reality Suite, and we'll catch you next week.